Yeah.
I'm with Chef Ryan. Do you go by Chef Ryan?
I go by Chef.
I'm with with Ryan Thompson, Pogonip Pizza. Ooni Pizza champion.
Thanks.
What's going on?
Just driving down the road, man. Hanging out, getting ready to cook some pies.
All right, tell me again. You were not...
I'm not looking to start a business, or I wasn't looking to start a business. I've got a fun day job. I work for a company that I do a lot of experiential marketing and marketing to other large companies. And it takes me a lot of places, a lot of fun places and things like that. So I have a friend that bought a laundromat that's right next to this location, and it's next to the University of Santa Cruz, where it's kind of a food desert. The way Santa Cruz is set up, the college is put at the top of the hill, and there's a greenbelt space, and then there's a housing space, and then it's another 1.5 miles down the hill before there's any food. The food that's there is a Taco Bell and a McDonald's. And so this little space I'm going into, it used to be a used bookstore for the college, and there's a 7-Eleven next door to laundromat, like all the things that a college needs. But there's no food anywhere around. And so the bookstore closed down. It became the Jewish Community Center for UCSC. COVID happened. That was shut down, and it was vacant for 4 years. When my friend bought the laundromat back beginning of last fall, the landlord said he wanted to put food in this space just because they had changed the zoning in that area. It used to be parking. You needed 3 spots for every 100 square feet. There's not enough parking spots. And so now they changed it. If you're within a 1/4 mile of a bus stop, you can put a restaurant there. So that's how it came to my
That's how you came on the space, and
that's
you were
how
like,
it came
all
on the
right.
space. And it's like, oh, this space is too cheap to be true. I can't pass that up. Santa Cruz is a tourist town. They make their money 3 months out of the year. This is a business that has college right there, and I just think about legacy places that around colleges that people go to that either eat food, drink beer, that kind of stuff. And so just saw the opportunity and go from there. I kind of always put together big parties at the house, themed parties, whether it's like Jamaican, watching The Harder They Come, Jimmy Cliff movie, and making curry goat, for the masses.
I love to hear that, because not only is that how I got interested in pizza, but I've heard that similar story from other people, not on the podcast, I think, but just people in general who love food. It's I love to entertain, I love to host.
Yeah, so my heart really is within service.
Yeah.
Towards people. I don't mean to get religious in any way, but you think about Jesus and his main ministry.
Yeah.
It was all food based.
Turned
water into wine at a party.
Yeah.
He fed 5,000 people loaves, fish and bread.
Right.
And it's he's probably the most notable person in history that we all know about and talk about. And he's his whole thing was food.
That's there's definitely some truth to that.
Or the focus of his ministry. And what I really see and what I love about food is it draws memories, right? You tie tastes and smells to locations and the people you're around and the good times that you have. And that's really what I enjoy creating.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where my food passion has been. Because my parents were in restaurants, it was don't ever get into restaurants. And so, I went into the automotive industry and found a completely different route until now. I worked in food all going to school. I started at Pizza My Heart in 89. I think I was there in 92. So when it was still small and still Santa Cruz based, I've talked to Lars about it a little bit, and to Leah, and, they came through there, and just neat to see that.
That's cool.
Pop-ups is mainly, right now, it's just a source of marketing for what's going to happen with the business to get name out there.
Yeah.
And kind of explore menu items, right? Like, I
wonder if I can see both of us. That's kind of what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Like, I was like, why does Ryan do these pop-ups? Like, does he have to? And I figured you kind of do have to if you want to get your name out there. Is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, and so part of the things too is you'll see that, like, I'm kind of in partnership with the brewery that we're going to. They make amazing beer.
Yeah.
They've got amazing vision. There's potential for growth for both of us in this location.
Sure.
And they're cool dudes, and so they have a Brazilian food restaurant in that space.
Yeah.
But they're not open on Tuesdays, and so Tuesdays they just kind of leave it for pop-ups. And for me, it's a kitchen takeover in that aspect, right? So we set up over there and just have a good time, and just allows me to market, collect some data research on menu stuff, and just kind of give people overall feel. So, and it's tough. Like, even though the family's been in restaurant business, it's been a long time since I've been in the pizza business. I've always loved pizza. I've always made pizza. At the house, and started making pizza in the backyard in about 2016, and a modified pellet smoker with a bunch of kiln bricks I got off of Craigslist. And, it's just pizza's an amazing food.
It's a passion.
I love it. So
it's a passion of yours to cook. It's a passion of yours to feed people.
The other thing is, for me, is deconstruction. Like, I when it comes to cooking a meal, I end up doing a lot of research, and there was a time there where probably 2005, I really got into ramen, and I started making ramen noodles, and it was like, at that point in time, you couldn't really find a recipe anywhere. It was like, you look online and you get like ramen noodles, and it'd be like ancient Chinese secret, like you just didn't have, there was nothing there. They tell you that to use consoi, which is sulfur water, and that came from a lake in China, and like that was all that you could really find. And so I went through a whole stage where there were several years where I was just making ramen noodles for friends, and we'd have craft beer parties and cook ramen, or go to bicycle races and cook ramen for my buddies that would race.
So you go deep whenever you get
really into food. I think you kind of saw that in my backyard as like chaos that all kind of is there.
I wish we got that on camera.
Nope. Not happening.
I mean, like talk to me about being able to, I guess, manage your time. I mean, you have hella interests, from gardening to going deep on food to, we'll probably even talk about like picking up used restaurant equipment and then flipping it. Like, is it just like go for you? And you have a full-time job. Is it just go for you all the time?
Yeah, it's go. I do need my rest. I do have those down days where it's like, dude, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. When this opportunity came up, it's like, I don't have any money to really to put into a business. I wasn't looking to do a business. I wasn't saving. I wasn't doing things like that. And so it's like I came across this opportunity in a kitchen in an old tech building that a hard drive company.
Okay.
And it was a kitchen that was used for catering pre-COVID. All the equipment was really high-end and not used very much. It was used mainly for a small breakfast and lunch service, and that was it. And I came across a really amazing deal, but there was a lot of other things that I had to take on with the equipment. I had to take out all the countertops, and they are all custom stainless, and they're not straight because there's not a straight wall in the area, so a lot of it is not usable because of that, but it's all really high-grade stainless. So I've got right now, I'm in the process of tearing all of that out. But I did get an amazing walk-in. I got lots of refrigeration that I'm going to use in the restaurant. I picked up a small Hobart counter, A12. It's older, but like it has all the attachments. It's got a slicer and a grater attachment. And those are things that, like, I use that to break down cheese and slice mushrooms.
Instead of breaking down cheese, how about we break down this message from our sponsor, Bacio Cheese. Do you need some amazing cheese for your pizza business? Well, Bacio's got you. With Bacio, not only will you get quality cheese, but you also get cash back through their Gold Rewards Club program. For every pound of Bacio cheese that you purchase, you'll earn cash back rewards. That sounds amazing because I'm all about quality. I'm all about a great deal. Use the link in the show notes to learn more and sign up for a demo today. Thank you to Bacio Cheese for sponsoring this episode. Now, back to the podcast.
So the goal is to like pick up some of these like good deals and keep for the restaurant, and whatever you don't use.
I bought the whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm keeping a few key pieces, and then I've sold off several things. There was a small Lincoln Impinger conveyor oven I sold off. There was a really nice 48-inch griddle. There was a big 6-burner stove and oven.
Where do you sell it on?
Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. And it all went to other people starting restaurants, which is kind of cool, right? Because we're all kind of in the same boat trying to do things.
Yeah.
And this is all high quality equipment that has fairly low use.
Huh. How did you find the place? Can you remind me? Did you say it earlier? You had a friend that put you onto this?
Yeah, it has to do with the building that we rent from. The guy owns several buildings that used to be owned by a hard drive company. So Scotts Valley, where I work out of, is a small little town that a lot of sand quarries there. They ended up moving. That's where Silicon Valley got its name, was from chip manufacturing back in the day. A lot of that sand came over Highway 17, which we're driving on right now. This road used to be filled with the sand trucks hauling sand back and forth over the hill.
Whoa.
You don't see that anymore.
Wow, I had no idea.
So you had some smaller companies and a very big hard drive manufacturer over there at one point in time.
Okay. So is this the only time you've bought a lot or bought used equipment and flipped it, or have you done it before?
No, I bought some equipment to hang on to. I bought an old mixer that was at one point in time owned by Acre up in Sebastopol, right?
They have a few locations.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know like you're getting a good deal on used equipment? How do you know you're not getting duds?
That's a good question, isn't it? Right? Like, obviously, you try to test it when you can. That mixer was all on good faith.
Yeah.
It's 3-phase. I don't have 3-phase set up yet. So, but it's a high quality mixer, and everything that I can read makes amazing dough. I've gone through, replaced all the seals on the gearbox and replaced the belts. kind of did a little tune-up on it, so I'm hoping when I plug it in, it goes, right? And if not, then I've got to figure out another solution. But that's kind of the gamble that you take sometimes.
To get a good deal.
Yeah, I've tested all the equipment in the stuff that I purchased, and it's all operational, so...
You haven't had to fix anything yourself?
Not yet. I'm planning on having all the refrigeration components looked over and recharged and tested before we plug everything in. I don't want to be up and operational and have be open a week and have things go down.
Yeah.
But I was able to pick up, a Bev Air, in that lot, there's a Bev Air 67-inch pizza table. So like things like that, I'm going to use.
That fridge going down is like the saddest thing.
Yeah. That's one of those things like, in the family restaurant, I've seen that happen. I've seen toilets backed up. I've seen, lived all of that stuff.
You said you had a crazy story about the Sprinter van that we're in?
Yeah. So, in a previous job, I ran a call center for an international company, and for still in motorsports, power sports. And I had a customer call the call center to complain about a dealer on the East Coast, and turned into a multi-week, multi-phone call ordeal to get this customer taken care of and satisfied. And then out of that, just developed kind of a weekly phone call that was just like, what's going on? How are you? This is what I'm up to this week. Just like developed this, this thing where this guy had to call me, like, just to like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah, just
like,
checking in on you, touching base.
Like, we developed this friendship, and then he came out here for a conference in San Francisco Bay Area and goes, hey, can I come by the office? It's like, well, dude, the office is not really like,
it's gone.
Even though we have this big name, dude, it's not. We don't even have an emblem on the building. It's just a cubicle. There's nothing to see here. And so came over and we went to lunch, and from there, just like whenever he came out west, we'd hang out. And he had bought property in Colorado right near my sister-in-law's house. So when I've been out there, I've gone to see him there. But he, during COVID, wanted a Sprinter van really bad, and the cheapest one he could find was in Oxnard.
Oh, shit.
And so he flew from Atlanta out to Oxnard and bought this four-wheel drive, 170-inch wheelbase Sprinter. And he drove it 100 miles from Oxnard up Santa Barbara, got T-boned, and it ripped the rear axle out of the van and bent it. And Mercedes told him it was going to be 8 to 9 months before they could have the parts to fix it.
Oh my goodness.
So he decided to buy another van and get this one fixed. And so he called me and goes, hey, the van's down in Oxnard getting fixed. Can you pick it up in 6 months? And it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, okay. So forgot about it. December rolls around and he's like, hey, the van's done. Can you pick it up? I'll be out in February, March. So I go down and pick up the van, and it is now, I don't know, it's July 30th, right? So I've had this thing, and
6 months.
6 months. And we talk regularly. He's like, yeah, I'm thinking we should build that thing out as a Sprinter, and you should put that thing up on Turo and rent it out. And I'm like, I haven't used this thing to haul back and forth. So it's just a blessing that I have this van and a cool friend that's like,
feel free to use it. Dang.
So I don't put a ton of miles on it, but like this, it's really nice to have and drive over the hill.
Yeah, I mean, to like my last catering event, I had to rent a pickup truck because the host wanted us to all roll up in one car. They had valet, they had not a lot of people, not a lot of parking space. And so generally, I'd roll up in like 3 cars, right? Or two at minimum, and load up everything. I got one F-150, and I was like, whoa, this is what I want. I want a truck. And then just yesterday, I was in Auburn speaking with a guy who does catering as well. He's like, skip the F-150, get one of these vans, these cargo vans. And he showed me around his 12-seater Ford Transit, and it's like perfect. You know, the seats can come off when you need to just load a bunch of stuff, but when you don't, you just put the seats back on and start a pizza tour business or something.
Yeah.
So these are useful, I think, and also not really talked about.
They're not talked about. The problem is they're very popular in the van life world, and
yes.
so like they hold their value.
Yeah.
Right.
They're expensive.
They're expensive, but like I had this thing, and we've had the keys to this location since December. Things have gone awfully slow in the process,
right?
Just because we've had to resubmit the plans to the city 2 times.
Yeah.
Wait through their whole process. We're now waiting for public hearing on stuff, but
What's
Pizza Expo? It's like I'm driving out there, I'm taking cash, and I'm going to work deals because I know people don't want to ship stuff home. So, like, I ended up with all those the dough bins and the dough roller and things that I know that I want.
You just filled up this van?
Well, didn't fill it up, but yeah, I mean, I spent a good chunk of money, but I got deals that are huge cost savings in the future.
That's hella smart, dude.
You know, so like I got 8 large pizza pizza boxes and 10 of the small ones that are nice because they fit in those white igloos. You know, so doing catering jobs, you can keep your dough insulated pretty well. But catering's not what I want to do.
Catering is not what you want to do. Yeah, it's definitely it's a grind. I think.
I think the hardest part is not even the prep or the dough. It's loading the vehicle, setting up when you're there.
Yeah.
And then cooking pizza's the fun part, and then it's all tear down.
Yep.
And then it's going back, unloading, cleaning up, putting it away, and like it's a lot. I
don't mind the loading because it gives me a little bit of exercise and energy, a workout for the day. Mm-hmm. But then the unloading, but I do get like that, oh shit, what if I forget stuff? That always bugs me. But then like the unloading and the cleaning afterwards sucks.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like tired. Like 90% of the time I'll leave it for tomorrow. Like I'll unload my shit and I'm like, you're staying in your bins. You're going to get a little stinky, but I'm going to go hang out with my family. That's just me. And then I'll go tackle the dishes for like an hour or 2 the next day. But it's not my favorite part for sure. Going back to your build out, it's been how long now? From when you got the property to today?
Got the keys in December, so we're going on 7-8 months.
Has it been rent free?
Yes.
Good.
And the rent is a phenomenal deal when it does kick in. The big part is the communication with the landlord, and he's very understanding. There's some interesting things about this property that are just old and grandfathered in and done odd. You know, he bought the property. He hasn't owned the property very long, but there's things like there's 4 units in the block that I'm in, and there's only 2 water meters. So I have 2 units to the address, and then the third, I share my water with another unit. And then I have a panel, and they have a panel, but they're also scabbing off of my panel taking electricity, and who knows how long that's going on. So those are just weird things that we have to get settled with the water district and PG&E, and the tenant next to us is corporate, and so like to get the panel usage of what PG&E is dropping in, it took us over 2 months to get those details of their utility usage.
What a headache!
Just calling, it wasn't like a simple thing. Hey, can you get me this? And the neighbor can look at their power bill and tell me what they're using on a monthly basis. So it's just things like that have just been really kind of awkward, because this hasn't been. I take that back. This was a pizza business like way back in the day.
Oh, really?
But I'm guessing that was probably late 70s, early 80s. And hasn't been, so it's a complete build out. We're not going into a place that has a hood. A lot of the benefits of finding a place that, or buying a business.
So this is going to be a Gen 1 build out.
Yes.
Damn. Is it costing like a Gen 1 build out? Like, and by that I mean, is it costing you more than you had originally anticipated?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Fingers crossed for you.
Fingers crossed. It's kind of an interesting small space we have.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So.
No, go ahead.
I
Keep
don't know if
talking.
you'll see it as we come down. You'll look over to the right. There's a house up on the hill. It's called Pogonip. It was a country club up until the 80s. It sits just below UCSC. It used to be 640 acres. Part of it is now UCSC. The other part is a city park. It was used to film the movie Lost Boys. It was a grandfather's house.
Got it.
My grandfather was the property manager there in the mid-50s. And as a crow's fly, it's only about a mile from the location of the business. So as family history and city history, I've named the business Pogonip Pizza. That's where it comes from.
That's really cool.
So,
do a lot of people come up to your pop-up and recognize the name right away?
Yeah, because it's kind of an institution in town. If you're local, you can see it's over on this bluff. I don't know if you can see it in the tree line, but
It might be hard.
we have a little bit, so we'll run over to the location first.
Yeah, that's cool. What about your lease? How long is your lease for? Like, is it 5 year, 10 year?
5 year with 2 options.
With 2 options for 5?
Yeah.
That's good. Do you have all these improvements that you're making, or
yeah,
are the improvements split?
It worked out really well. It is rent, triple net, and then he gave us a dollar amount for rent, and then he gave us a matched number that if we put into the business on shared improvements, that comes out of the rent, subsidized over 5 years.
Damn.
So got a fair amount of money to work with, because he knows it's an older, going to need some work. But he also is looking for a legacy business that is going to be there for a while. So
that's cool. What's Santa Cruz's response to your pizza so far?
Everybody likes it. And I kind of do things a little backwards, I think, or just not like the norm. Like, as much as I love pepperoni pizza, everybody does pepperoni pizza. I know everybody eats pepperoni pizza, but I kind of want to deconstruct things and do things a little bit differently. Like today I'm doing I wanted a pizza that tastes like summer, so I'm doing a basil mint pesto with peas 3 ways. I've got English peas, I've got snap peas, and snow peas, and then finishing that with some fresh microgreens and edible flowers.
So where do you get the inspiration for that pizza? Is it just what's growing in your backyard? Is it like what's the season?
And that's what I can find at farmers market.
Okay.
And
but I mean, you're putting it all together. Are you getting? I mean, obviously you see some things, the peas at the farmers market.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that goes back to like meals as a kid or things that I really enjoy. Like I do a lot of Chinese cooking. I use snow peas, and chicken and snow peas is a dish I really like to cook. But also as a kid, we had English peas a lot and potatoes. And
Nice.
so like those are flavors that the sweetness that I really like. So I don't know. I'm gonna try it out and see what people's response is. I mean, I know a lot of people put corn on pizza.
Yeah.
And for a summer pizza, and that's amazing. I love corn on pizza. This house right here is up for sale for $4.3 million.
Crap. Old Victorian.
Yeah.
Dang. 4.3.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So in this neighborhood, rent is atrocious, mainly because you got college kids renting a bunch of college kids renting in one house. So rent is high.
It's
the
like
average house in this neighborhood is over $2.5 million.
Wow. Like 2 to 3 people in a room.
That's my guess. Yeah.
So are you going to move out here then?
That's the goal. My wife works up the peninsula, so we'll see what things look like. I already commute to Santa Cruz on a daily basis. It's 30 miles from the house to this location. And like we left at 3:03, it's now 3:35. So I mean, it's kind of reverse traffic. Summer traffic.
It's reverse traffic when you go to work.
When you go to work.
But, had we left an hour later.
Oh, we have, exactly. Because of, there's a lot of tech people that live in Santa Cruz. They want to have that lifestyle of the beach.
Yeah.
So it's nice reverse traffic. But the people that drive the hill for work, they actually drive fairly fast and it flows really nicely.
Yeah.
It's that Friday night, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
Traffic that is just
ridiculous. We drove here for a wedding last Saturday and I was like, what is going on? Why is it taking so long?
Well, I think part of the problem is people, when they drive slow, they lose focus, they pull out their phone, they start scrolling through Instagram and all that good stuff.
Yeah. It's possible. Yeah.
So then you get the whole yo-yo effect, and then there's the whole electric car thing with the autopilot. That creates a bunch of chaos. So just right there, up there is the entrance to UCSC, next light. This right here is the pathway that all the college kids walk down to come to this little shopping center. To hide here at 7-Eleven.
Sheesh. This is it.
So this is the 7-Eleven. This is the little place. This had a closet over in the corner, and then a bar, and then 2 just standard home gas ranges there. Planning on putting the walk in there, putting a bar there, and taps into the fridge, and that'll be the storage refrigeration. And then this becomes kitchen.
How often are you here?
At this point in time, not that often, because still waiting to see. We got the planning through the city. Planning now goes to public city council to see if they have any notes or projections. And then from there, we get building permit approved.
So
and then we can. So I just started some just general tear up stuff, but it's like I don't want to do a whole lot until we get stuff done. Get that stuff done, but I have, like I say, all that equipment, and because we're not doing any major structure changes to the inside. I think finishing this out, the big thing is going to be plumbing in the floor that we have to deal with, and fit finish.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's from my buddy that has the laundromat next door.
And then in terms of like do you have a GC already, or are you doing?
That's all set aside. It's just funny, like all the things. I thought things were going to go. I thought we'd be open by now.
Yeah.
When we got the keys, like 6 to 8 months, we should be good. But the reality is, I think it's going to probably be December, January.
Still not bad.
Still not bad. I was talking to Lars. It took him over 2 years to open up State of Mind, first location. I actually had him come over the other day and walk through here because the architect was like, "You sure you want to set up your kitchen like that?" And kept really pushing galley and talking to him. He's like, "Go do galley." Like, that's what I have in my 2 other locations. We did a custom build out. And he came over the hill to visit Ozzy's in Watsonville and rolled through here. He's like, "Don't do galley. I like this way you laid it out, and it makes total sense." And I like that. So that was kind of reaffirming. But yeah.
Cool. Thanks for showing me.
Yeah.
Before we get back on the road, here's a quick message from our sponsor, Corto Olive Oil. What oil do you use to press out your dough? I found out that whatever fat you use greatly affects your pizza. And that's why the only brand that I trust with my pizza is Corto Olive Oil. Taste is everything, and other brands pale in comparison. Do you want to taste the difference? Learn more about Corto Olive Oil using the link in the description below. If you're an operator, you can get a free tasting. Just message me and I'll connect you with them. Thanks to Corto for sponsoring this video. Now, back to the episode.
What did you make for the Ooni Pizza competition?
I made a mushroom pizza. We're going to be doing it again today.
At the pop-up in Santa Cruz.
At the pop-up in Santa Cruz at Woodhouse Brewing. I kind of, it's interesting. I did a traditional pie only because as much as I love pan pies, I don't feel like I don't feel like I've mastered it, right? Or there's too many things. Like, I haven't set on anything that I really like. I mean, I love doing Sicilian. Detroit's are fun, but like when I get to doing that stuff, it's like I can't. I know that's something that you really enjoy doing, pan pies.
Yeah.
And there's just, I don't know. I just have not found a consistency yet where I can replicate batch after batch after batch.
Yeah.
I change things up too much. So this is probably a better view. Let me see if we can see it. So basically that orchard you see up on that dry grass out there, that's Buildout. So it really is a mile from where we're at. So
beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, so
dropping
pizzas.
What happened, man?
One I had my biggest fear, and this is funny how you kind of bring things upon yourself, right? So
speak it out into the universe.
Yeah,
both the good and the bad.
Yeah, exactly. So went to signed up for Pizza Expo, and if I'm going to do Pizza Expo and I'm really doing this business, let's see if my stuff's decent, right? like I didn't even think about, as much as I wanted to win, everybody wants to win, but like the big thing was, people tell me my pizza's good. What do the experts say about my pizza?
Yeah.
That's what I really wanted to know. Am I just doing this, or am I like, because I don't want to put out garbage, right? And to me, it's like, yeah, pizza's a good business. You can make good money, but like for me, it's not about just like making pizza for money. I want to make pizza that is, or food in general that, as I mentioned before, is a memory. It's like people go, oh wow, remember that meal we had here? So, in doing so, the traditional pizza has got to be round, has to have red sauce, and can have 2 of 8 traditional toppings: mushrooms, peppers, onions, tomatoes, bacon, ham, pepperoni, and sausage, right? So that's pretty limiting, and if you can only have 2 toppings, how do you do that? And so you can use multiples of that particular topping. So I experimented with a few different ideas. I have a Spanish topping that that's normally served on tapas. It's a roasted red peppers with fennel and sherry and whatnot. It's really good, but I could not make that turn out on a pizza like how I envisioned it. So I started thinking about like, okay, I'm from the Bay Area. When we do the pizza, we've got to be completely blind, right? How do I create an identity tell my story in this pizza and bring in flavors in a really simple topping that people have never had, that people have all the time. So normally when you get a mushroom pizza, it's my mushrooms, and they don't really have a lot of flavor. They've got a good texture. I love them when they get kind of crispy on top of the pizza and they're spongy, whatnot. But there's a dish that is really famous in the Bay Area. Started in Italian restaurants and then went to Vietnamese restaurants, and now you can go to Oakland barbecue joints and you can get garlic noodle, right? And so garlic noodle in Italians in the Bay Area were fishermen. They brought in crab, whatnot. Dungeness is pretty normal, so you have these seafood flavors. Normally when you get it in a Vietnamese restaurant, it is served with roasted crab or shrimp. And so like looking at oyster mushrooms and seafood mushrooms, shiitakes, they all have a seafood flavor. So playing on those and playing on the garlic and all those flavors you get in garlic noodle, and kind of craft that into a mushroom pizza. So that was the goal. And I think if you close your eyes, you can, because you've got umami from the mushrooms, you got umami from the cheese, you got umami from the tomatoes. The big thing in garlic noodle is the sauce. Italians use olive oil, butter, and garlic. The Vietnamese brought in fish sauce and oyster sauce, which oyster sauce traditionally is made with oysters. I used vegan oyster sauce, which is made out of shiitakes. So kind of made a marinade for my mushrooms out of that, garlic, a few other secret ingredients, and marinated my mushrooms before I put them on. Because some of the things is if they can see the garlic, it's considered a topping, and those are all points. And so how do you create a vessel to bring in all these extra flavors that you can't do? And I know that a lot of people didn't follow the regulations and got points marked off because they had toppings that didn't follow those really strict regulations. Back to dropping the pizza, my biggest fear is just imposter syndrome. Like, here I'm amongst all these great pizza chefs, and I'm a nobody who shouldn't even be here competing in a pizza competition. And using a brand new peel and that I hadn't used before, pull the pizza out. And as I pulled it out, the pizza slid up the peel, up my arm, hit me directly in the chest, cheese all down my pants, on my shoes. So not only did I drop my pizza, but I wore it like a badge for the rest of the day.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know, and I know that everybody came up to me and was like, dude, we've all dropped pies, right? In competition, we've all had to like deal with things like that. But it was kind of like bringing that to fruition because of that whole mindset of, like, dude, I shouldn't be here. Like, I'm not anybody. I'm not. Yeah.
Well, that's great advice for anyone competing or doing anything in life, is just look for the best positive outcome and think that it might not hurt you. Last question. No right or wrong answer. What's good dough?
What's good dough? Friends, right? Because that's who you go eat pizza with, and that's who you create memories with, and that's that's how I do this, right? If it wasn't for friends at Woodhouse, it wasn't for friends that normally come and help me do this and push me and challenge me, then I wouldn't be doing this.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, man.